La 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 la
Hey, folks.
la la
I'm
la
Camille Who
la
Armstrong,
la
the
la
performing
la
arts Renaissance
la
woman. For
la
over 40 years, I've worked as a performer,
la la
educator,
la
consultant, and coach. But most importantly, I'm a parent. From classrooms to stages to bedtime routines, I've spent my life nurturing creativity, character, and connection in the next generation. This series is for you, whether you're expecting, learning as you go, or parenting for the first time, or even third time around. I'm here to share the insights, tools, and real talk I've gathered over 4 decades of hands on experience. Welcome to Camille Who, the Child Whisperer. I'm so glad you're here.
What if the key to less stress, fewer power struggles, had little to do with more control and more to do with order? I'm Camille Who, the Child Whisperer, and we are talking today about order, patterns, and repetition, and the importance of it in our lives and in the lives of our children, especially in the early childhood developmental years. Now, and I know that many of us don't want to admit this, okay? And that's because it's sometimes easier to sometimes just we don't have the tools and we haven't made the decision to get the tools in order to change our habits. And so we become okay with the chaos. The difference between a bush and a garden is order, and you feel the difference. When you walk into a place that has order, you feel the difference, and there's a sense of peace. Likewise, our children feel it. We are creatures of habit, and if we use habit in an intentional way, then we are enhancing our children's living experience, their brain activities, their security, their emotional regulation. We're increasing their ability. We're enhancing those things in their lives, in their brains. Children thrive on order, patterns, repetition, and because we're wired for it. We humans, we're wired for order and patterns. There's rhythms that go on in our body. There are patterns that go on in our body. You could look at a flower, like just the design of things. Look at a flower and the Fibonacci sequence that is in a flower. This is and we tend to gravitate toward order. When you look at a squiggly line, sort of chaotic kind of picture versus one that has patterns and lines, or just an actual painting of something that is definable, our eyes tend to gravitate towards that one that has the beautiful defined patterns or the defined image, more so than we go to that chaotic picture. Order creates structure and reduces chaos. And let's face it, many of us may have gotten used to chaos. But when we are in a place of order, we feel the difference. When there is a sense of order in our environment, we feel the difference. We are wired for it, which is why there's a sense of peace that comes along with it, because really we are designed to have order. Patterns build neural pathways for logic, sequencing, math, and problem solving. Repetition strengthens memory, language, emotional regulation, and confidence. Predictability equals safety. Safety equals calm. Calm equals cooperation. We all need order. And here's where I don't know, just think I need to address it because many of us have become very used to the chaos in our lives, and so we live with it, and then our children are a part of it, and then we make a mess of our children's lives. We give them anxiety, we give them all kinds of different nervous conditions. Um, and and then we have all these power struggles with our children because they don't know what's going on next, right? But if we had a certain kind of schedule or a certain kind of routine, like I'm not saying be like, okay, every day at 9:15 we do this and every day at 10 o'clock we do this, not like that, but just, having certain routines where you just repeat the same thing, like bath and bedtime, like story time, like, okay, this is what we do before nap time every day. um when we wake up, we wash our face, we brush our teeth. After we made a mess, before we move on to the next thing, we clean up that mess and then we can move on to the next thing. These little patterns and just that kind of order, creating that kind of order it actually does it, leaps and bounds for your child's early developmental years. Think about it. Emotional regulation. How many 2-year-olds have you been around? How many 3-year-olds have you been around? Maybe you've seen them with other parents and they don't know how to behave because they don't know how to emotionally regulate themselves, because they don't know, there's just such an unpredictability that's going on, so they just don't know how to behave. And because they never know what to expect, they're always on edge. That's really what happens. They're always on edge. You create an anxious child. And so they just don't know what's coming next, and they don't know what to expect, and they don't know to trust their parent. So they don't know to trust anything else or anyone else around them. This is the struggle that our poor children go through if there is no order. Something as simple as order, patterns, repetition in their lives. So instead of having random timing, different instructions every night, negotiation every evening. You're like, all right, well, okay, well, this is our deal. Okay, well, let's just try to. No, all right, well, okay, well, just this one time. Get out of the habit. I have heard parents say, I just want to be flexible. Well, there's certain things you're not flexible on, okay? Because your child doesn't know any better. We are the ones that are teaching them structure. We're teaching them order. We're doing it in order. We're teaching them the pattern. So you create certain patterns and you stick to it. Consistency, repetition. This is when your child learns a routine and they just know to do the routine. Like there is no question, there's no negotiating that you have to do. There is no they're wondering, or thinking that okay, they can get away with this today because mom might say yes, or mom might say no, or dad might say yes, or dad might say, that because they don't know. But if they know that like mom and dad just stick to this same routine every day, and they're not even like, they can't even articulate that. They just know that, oh, this goes after that. That goes after that. And that's it. Really? That's it. You can create bath routines. I have a video that gives you a really good bath time, bedtime routine. I call it the 4 Bs. And if you stick to that same routine, I swear to you, your child will not give you a hard time with, and then they may the first 2 or 3 times, but at the end of the day, like once that pattern happens, they tend to understand that there is a pattern. They learn the pattern. It's like a rehearsal. They now get good at it and they know what's next. There is no being upset. They just know that this is, and you as a parent, you can just go, oh no, we can't do that because this is next. And they can just be like, most times they'll be like, oh, it really is. We make life complicated when we create chaos, or when we allow chaos, when we take patterns out of the equation, when we take order out of the equation. And parenting is too stressful already. Being that major role of parenting, stewarding over a little human, is already a high stress job. Why make it more stressful? Instead, try when you are pregnant with that first child to create patterns to create certain kinds of order, like get your house in order. Try to create these certain routines that you get used to. So by the time the child comes, then they're already sort of walking into your already made, ordered, structured environment. They become a product of that ordered, structured environment. For my 4 Bs, it's the how I got my children to sleep all night by 6 weeks or something like that. You should just go back. Just go back to my videos. Anyway, so in that structure, there is bath time, there's books, and it's usually 3 books, and it's usually the same 3 books. Then it's bottle and bed. You turn the lights off. Good night, I love you. And you out. Like, same pattern, same structure, order, because it's the same and it's repeated, and every night. I mean, it doesn't take much. You start doing this before they're 6 weeks old, right? And they already fall into that pattern. There is no struggle getting your child to sleep at night. There's no struggle getting your child to sleep in their crib. Let's not create that, parents, because that's what we do. We create chaos. We make it chaotic for our children, right? So that kind of structure, you have same order, you have the same pattern, then you have the same repetition. What happens with your child is their brain relaxes because they know what to expect, right? Isn't that what happens with us? Our brains relax when we know that certain things are going to happen every day. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been a part of things where I'm like, oh my God, this is way too the same every day. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your just certain things, that, like, oh, I can predict that train is going to come at that time, and I'm going to get on that train, I'm going to read my book, and I'm going to get to work. And these little patterns that you sort of rest in, you can relax in, because these things are going to happen every day. There's a relaxation, there's a peace that comes along with it. This is what's happening in your child's brain. Your child is now less anxious because they know what's coming next. Something as simple as that. This creates a neurological safety, which at the end of the day, that's what you want to create. That is the basis of self-regulation, emotional regulation, security, confidence. Step 1, create order, right? Start with one routine. Start with one routine. It could be morning. It can be food time, making food in the morning, making breakfast. It could be your early morning in the bath, in the bathroom, wash your face, brush your teeth, like your child just sort of like there with you. It could be cleanup time. It could be bedtime. Create that one routine. Think of your 2 or 3 steps. Keep those 2 or 3 steps and do it every time. I promise you, this will create a child that is confident in you, that is confident in what's going on. This will create a child that can trust you as a parent. Don't get me wrong, like, there's going to be times where there might be a little variation. Fine, right? But at the end of the day, make sure it's very little variation. Like, I'll give you an example of a variation. When a child is maybe 2.5 years old, I can start changing books. Like, okay, what's the 3 books that we're gonna read, right? Because I pretty much keep the same books over and over and over again every time, nap time and bedtime. But when they're 2.5, 3 years old, I can now say, okay, get your 3 books. That can vary, right? But the steps in the routine should not vary. That should stay the same. Keep it consistent. Keep it in that order. You just need reliable structure. Something that they know is going to happen, like that. Something like that is just like a peaceful situation for a child. Children don't know a backstory. They don't know what day you had. They don't even care about it. All they know is what you present to them in their faces. This is their daily movie. And when you create that daily movie with order, they now know that, yeah, that's going to happen next, or this is what's happening, and that's what's happening. It's just a calm. There's just a piece to it, and less resistance. They don't argue with you. They don't get frustrated with you because, oh my gosh, what is mom doing today? What is that like? Come on, people, would you just know what you're doing already? Sometimes kids just get frustrated because of that. It's like, what are these people doing? Why don't they just get me? Why don't they just decide? Sometimes it's just that. You create that daily movie with some order and some structure, you got a chill child that you can really take them anywhere and they can adjust. Like you have a self-adjusting child that you can change their environment, and because they trust in you especially, they know they can chill out. They can really just like, okay, when are we going to take this in? Is what we're going to do. Step 2, build the pattern. Okay, right? So you want to create that pattern. You create that one routine, or you pick that one routine in the day. Eventually, you pick 2 routines. Then you pick another routine, and then you create those steps. So the step 2 is basically you want to build a pattern. This makes the brain work more predictively. Um, uh, Shoes on, jacket on, the door opens. 3 steps, but it's the same steps every day. Shoes on, jacket on, the door opens. Something as simple and as basic as that. Create that pattern, stick with the pattern. 2 to 3 steps, 4 steps at the most. You can even say these patterns as well. Like you can even say these steps as you're doing it. Like, all right, shoes on. Okay, jacket on. All right, let's go. A lot of times when I take a child in my care, my children, the children I nannied, when I take them out, I say, well, okay, bye, house. And we say the same thing. And then we come back in and we go, hi, house, every single time. In fact, I actually do that in my own house when it's just me by myself. But because I've just like created that pattern myself, I just kind of laugh to myself and I go, hi, house. But yeah, so you have okay, get your shoes. All right, get your jacket. Bye, house. Same pattern every time. I don't get a screaming child. I get a child that just complies. And that's exactly what you would do. You would get a child that just complies because they are anticipating that next step, because they know that next step is coming. So they're just waiting for it. And they fall right in. Step 3, use repetition. So you have picked the moment in the day or the routine in the day. You've created a pattern, 2-step, 3-step, even 4-step pattern. Then you repeat it every day. If you sing songs together, keep the same songs. Songs help children to develop their language skills. It helps them to string words together. Songs are golden when it comes to language, learning language, early speech training. They learn how words are used if they learn songs with the same patterns, right? The same repetition. I like to play the same music every day, all day, and that's one of those things that just, it's a routine. It's there. It's repetitive, and it's something that the child feels secure in and comfortable in because they know these songs. This is something that's very familiar to them. And so, yeah, you keep the same cleanup cues, or you can keep the same songs, or you keep the same books. Create that repetition. And I promise you, you will create a peaceful household and an experience. You will create a peaceful, oh my gosh, secure experience for your child and their early childhood developing brain. Yeah. I think that's about it for this video. I am Camille Who, the Child Whisperer, and I am out of here.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Camille Who, the Child Whisperer. A heartfelt thank you to the generous supporters of the Books and Beyond campaign. This series wouldn't be possible without you. If you're a new or expecting parent, I created Better Parent, Better Future just for you. I empower first-time parents to embrace a positive mindset and navigate those early parenting years with confidence and joy. Click the link in the description to learn more or to find out how we can work together. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leading with love.